Hello ladies and gentlemen. Alright, doing a video today on die locking rings. There's several manufacturers. I have a small example of some of them on the table. We're going to kind of go through. I'll tell you how the differences, what I like, what I dislike, and how they function versus single stage turret and progressive. As far as what I see as being the best or best use for what I use. So, first one on the left, this is going to be a Redding. It's got a great checkering. I mean, you can really get a hold of this lock ring and tighten it down. And then to set it, you've got a set screw right here. So it seems to be a steel set screw. So disadvantages of that, what most people think is when you turn that set screw in, you're going to damage the threads on the die. I don't really see that happening. It's possible, but only if you're cranking around on this after you set the set screw. So when you're locking this down, back it off. Use a set screw for what it's for. When you set it in place and you lock it in place. After that, you need to get your Allen key out and loosen that up. But a really good locking ring. The size is great. It's not too big. It's not too small. And they do make some smaller ones. This is the standard size. They do make some that are thinner, so the wall thickness going out, the diameter is going to be a little bit smaller, so that way it fits in tight spaces. So this will actually function on a turret head. So if we take, I already got one on that one, don't I? I need to put it on. So this is a Redding lock ring. So if we take it, we've already got one die in this turret or this tool head. And we go to tighten this down. It's going to be an extremely tight fit, but if you have your other dies lined up, you notice that's going to squeeze right in there. So there's no need to purchase the smaller one because it's round. It's going to fit. So very good design from Redding, keeping that round. And you notice that we're kind of peaked on this side, and it definitely fit easy on that side. We'll leave that one. We'll leave that one turned on. We're not going to tighten it down. So that's the Redding compared to the Lee sitting on there. All right, our next die, our lock ring. This is going to be a RCBS. So it uses a standard wrench type locking ring. And it looks very familiar, if not the same. They are different than the Lyman. Now Lyman uses several different kinds. This is the only one I have, but they do have some that are a little bit more knurled up like this. So same principle as the Redding. It uses a set screw. Now these are brass, and a lot of people love these brass ones because they think, hey, the brass is a softer metal. It's not going to damage my die. That's the one I want. It's going to be better. Like I said before, it's whatever you think. You notice on the RCBS, it seems to be a little bit thicker, and it's got a larger set screw versus what the Lyman is. So you can tell there's a little difference in those, but overall the size is going to be the same, and you're going to be able to screw that into a turret head with no problem. It's not going to hit anything. So these work great, just like the Redding on a single stage or a progressive. Depending on your style, Dylan's may be a little bit tighter fit, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure they're going to work. Now this next one, this is a Forster. It's huge. I mean, that is a huge, huge locking ring. Now, if we go to seat it, it's just not gonna fit, even if you've got, see right there? Now, if that set screw wasn't there, we could tighten that down. Now, even though our die is turned just perfect, it's going to hit. The further it goes down, the tighter it's going to get. So it's not going to fit. But on a single stage, these are going to work great. I do like the fact that it's the locking ring split, and the set screw kind of squeezes that lock ring down. So those folks that forget to loosen something and crank down on it, it's not going to damage your threads. So, and I think this is like aluminum. It's very light. It's got some good checkering on it, so you can get a hold of it, and it's very large. extremely large. You can see it compared to the Redding. It really stands out. It's a good one. Don't let me steer you from it, but it's not going to function properly on a turret head or a progressive press just because of its size. Our next one here is going to be the Hornady lock ring, and it's a good design. The feel of the checkering is not as aggressive as the Redding or the Forster. You know, it's there, so that way it's not smooth on that rounded part, but this is designed to use a wrench or their specialized tool. So you can buy their tool, tighten it down, and it also has that clamping action where that set screws there because it's split, so it works very well, and it will actually screw into the turret head. So we've got that next to the, so no matter where you're at, you just got to line up to where you can get your set screw in there and then tighten that down. So you got plenty of space there, still functions. It's a little bit larger in diameter on this end than the Redding, but still works. So you can use this on a turret, or you can use this on a single stage. All right, our last one, last but not least, is going to be the Lea. So the Lea is, I think this is made out of aluminum. It just looks like a standard nut. You know, it's similar to these, but it's okay. I lost video there, so let's continue. So last but not least is going to be the Lea lock ring, and this is a looks like a standard nut, like I said previously, if that was captured in the video. But what they've done is they've included an O-ring in there that actually kind of crushes when you tighten this down, and it locks itself in. So it's actually a really good design. It probably cost a little bit more to manufacture because they have to mill that part out so they can, you know, just slide that O-ring in there. But it's a great design. I like it. It allows you to hand tighten a die in and not have to worry about that die backing out or moving or getting a wrench. Now, this will work on a single stage or a turret and even a progressive. Now, the downfall for this is sometimes, you know, those O-rings will wear out and you'll have to buy a new O-ring. No big deal. You can buy them. Another thing is they can loosen. If you don't have these tight enough and you've got it on a turret or you've got it on a progressive press and it's hitting, especially on the sizing die, if it's hitting that shell plate good and hard, it can cause that die to kind of back out a little bit. I've seen it, so you kind of got to keep an eye on it. And if you tighten it down too hard, you will need a wrench to get it off. You know, I've tightened them down so tight that it's tough to get off. So that's a possibility. And as you crank down, especially if you don't have a whole lot of room, you're cranking down, it's kind of hard to get it as tight as you want it. So that is a drawback when you're on a, you know, tool head or something like that. Versus these, you loosen them, you tighten them all the way down, they spin freely, and then you set that set screw. So, you know, there's pluses on these and there's pluses on this, but my favorite out of all of them is going to be that Lea. It's going to be the Lea lock ring. I buy them. They come in like a 3-pack. You know, they're like $4. They're less than $4 for a 3-pack, and they fit all the standard 7/8 dies. So that's what I prefer. You know, they're easy to take on, take off. They're kind of toolless, unless you're running progressive and you're really cranking them out and you're hitting real hard depending on your press. If you're running a press with overcam, they're probably going to move a little bit. They may not, but they could. But overall, that's just a small example of die lock rings that, you know, I've used and what I use now. But all of them work. Some may not work as good as others depending on application. So I know there's a bunch out there. If you've got some others that you use that may be, you know, better than these or, you know, function a little bit differently, post it in the comments. I like to know. I'm always looking for new things to try and experiment with. All right, thanks for joining me, and like and subscribe. See you on the next video.